What's up, guys? I just want to give you the intro to this formation, man. This is Y off trio week, and once again, it's becoming my favorite formation in the game. Everything that was good in the last year is even better this year, and there's a lot more setups, a lot more coverage beaters because I feel the zones aren't as good as they were last year. At least this first couple weeks of man, I feel like this formation is dominant. But I'll show you guys what I like to do to get a running back at tight end. People ask me that question all the time, and that's how I want to set it up. And we're going to start by going into the depth chart. What you want to do is whoever you want to have it running at tight end, let's say, okay, Kamara's the good pass catcher. So we're going to bench Kamara, essentially. That's what we're going to do. He's not playing, but we're going to start Latavius Murray running back. Let's put this guy, Dwayne Washington, as my second running back. Then at fullback, that's where we'll put Alvin Kamara. Okay? So then Alvin Kamara will be my fullback. I like to put my best wide receiver in the slot. I'm using the Saints to have a route chem. This offense is very good, man, but if you put a route chem in it, the slot apprentice that you can get on Marvin Harrison or Torrey Holt, one of those receivers, maybe Jerry Rice, I believe, gets it as well. If you put that, it takes it to the next level. So I'll show you my setups with that and without it, but I always like to put my best receiver in the slot. Always like it to kind of be my fastest receiver, but right now in MUT, everybody's kind of a similar speed. But I would put Michael Thomas in the slot if I played with these here Saints. But I'll show you what it's like. So even though we have Jared Cook, we're not going to use him. Unless you want to, then you don't have to do any of this setup. But for me, I'd rather have a fast running back, especially in MUT when the tight ends are only 80 speed. In MUT, I use Marcus Allen there. So that really changes it, takes it to the next level. What I want to show you guys, we'll go back to Y off trio week, and we're going to use the right stick to change our packages. You know, packages are how you move players around quickly without having to auto sub them in. And for me, what I like to go here is just regular. What that means is it's going to give you two. Regular is just, it gives you the personnel for I formation, 2 running backs, a tight end, and 2 wide receivers. So it takes a wide receiver off the field. It puts the tight end in the slot. It also puts your fullback at tight end because we put Kamara there. Now, as you see, number 41 Kamara is my tight end. But to not have Jared Cook on the field, because I don't want Jared Cook at wide receiver, I want him on the bench. I want Michael Thomas there. So what we'll have to do is go back here. It looks like Michael Thomas is already there, but he's not because we did the package. So all we have to do is sub Michael Thomas out and then sub him back in. Now let's go back to the play call screen, and we'll have, I believe we'll have, it should be, there it is, right there. Y off trio week. We have Kamara, number 41 is my tight end. Number 13, Michael Thomas, is in the slot, and I have Latavius Murray, my backup running back, is my running back next to Drew Brees that most of the time is going to block. And that's how you set up and get your running back at tight end so you can be better on flat passes and use these delay routes. I'm going to show you guys how lethal these delay routes really are, especially as against good defensive players that like to disguise their blitzes and sometimes bring pressure and sometimes not. The next play I want to talk about is sticking up, man. I put this as my RB audible. This play is great because it has the Pat Sale post. There's not very many stock plays that have this post route in it. In New Orleans is pretty much one of the only playbooks that still has this post. This post, you can't man it up. No zone will guard it on the other side of the field. It is one of the routes where the user has to guard it. So let's go. Let's same thing. We'll take a look at this. Just cover 3 for now. You need a streak on the right side. It doesn't matter who the streak is. This is the base setup that I use. Michael Thomas on the streak. I want to slant B, and I want to drag Alvin Kamara. That's it. So I pretty much have a high-low read on the left side. I can hit Kamara on the drag, or I can hit the slant. If they play hard flats, the slant will be there. If they play cloud flats, I got to dump it off to Kamara and get 5 to 10 yards. Ultimately, when I run this play, I want to throw the ball to Ted Ginn. But I have to assume that they're going to guard Ted Ginn. Most people will use their Ted Ginn on this play. That means you have the computer to throw to everybody else, pretty much. As we see, we can hit Kamara underneath, get a couple yards, get something good, and that's why when you can control where their user goes, it makes it easier to pass to other people. And that's pretty much what this play alone does. They have to guard Ted Ginn, so now they pretty much have to choose, because you just see how wide open Ted Ginn gets. There's nobody in that area that can control. There's nothing in the game that can guard that post. You can't man it up. You cross man it. He runs by it. It's just really effective. So that's the base setup that I use against a cover 3 look. We could almost fit that in right there. Tough though, because there is a cloud there to fit that slant in, but you have to pick between the drag and the slant if they cover this post. Now, one thing I really like this year, and I'll tell you guys with this play it matters the most because you need some time for that post to develop, is the hot routes they gave my tight end. And because I have a running back there, it makes it that much more high powered. I can put Kamara on a delayed flat, I can put Kamara on a delayed fade or a delayed cross. And not only are these great, I completely control when they release. So I'll put, instead of putting him on a drag, I'll put him on a delayed drag. Because say they're coming out here and they want to run pinch buck and they want to blitz 8 people at me. I have a blocker now. But if they fake it, now I have a drag route. So not only it gives you the option of both being a max protect and send out everybody's situation. So it's just a really effective thing that because I have a running back there, I utilize it so much better than most people. So it's the same setup, but instead I'll use that delay. You know, now I see him go. I can press A to get Kamara. Oh, he fell on the ground. But he gave me enough time to get the ball up there to Ted Ginn. You know, that's one thing that I like doing. But let's give Kamara some help now. So we saw him with that one-on-one. Let's slide that way too. And we're going to spotlight this outside linebacker. Now let's see what the offensive line does. Pretty much the same thing. We'll release Kamara late. He has so much more room to really get off and go because of that delay. Pretty much what running backs do in real life. They'll just wait for the zones to go ahead and drop, and then you can press A, release Alvin Kamara into the flats or into the middle of the field, whatever it may be. Now let's just try the flat one. We'll put him on a flat. Same thing. Sliding right. Let's release him to the flats. I mean, he's bumping the hell out of that guy. Get him the ball. That's what Alvin. That's why we have a running back there. So that's something I like to mix in with this play specifically because you need some time to get the ball again. And like I said, the user is going to be 40 yards down the field, so you can make some plays with Alvin Kamara. Now let me show you this play kind of against a cover 2, where my different adjustments really are. Okay, let's go sticking up, and we'll go against cover 2 this time. Cover 2, because I'm going to show you guys how I run each play pretty much against E, because it's not you can only run this play against that coverage or this play against this coverage. I feel like you can use all these plays against every coverage for the most part. If I'm seeing cover 2 a lot, my opponents are playing a lot of cover 2. We're going to put Kamara on a streak. And Michael Thomas went from being my my streak runoff. Now he's my playmaker. Excuse me. Against cover 2. I can put him on a drag. I can put him on a hitch and playmaker him after a while. But this pretty much comes down to I'm going to have Kamara down the seam. I have Michael Thomas quick, but also I want Ted Ginn to get the ball late. That's pretty much how it's going to go. That's why you also always have this on this play as well against cover 2. That's why I like keeping that fade against cover 2 rather than changing him. It just puts different stress on different zones when they play cover 2 as opposed to cover 3. And the same thing, we have Michael Thomas on his hitch. We can playmaker him, throw it low, throw it underneath, because you know where their user has to go. Now let's see if I can hit Kamara down the seam. This is one downside. I'm not going to tell you the running back down the seam or at tight end is bad, but this is the only downside. Jared Cook would give us a 6'5", big body down the seam I can highball to. Kamara doesn't give me that. So sometimes you want to mix in your tight end every once in a while, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But we're still able to hit that seam against cover 2 with Kamara, the shorter player with less catching traffic and things like that. So that's the setup I like to do when it's cover 2. Also, let me show you something else with cover 2 that people do, and that's keep these soft squats. Let's go cover 2. A popular one of these pinch dog 2 press. This will have soft squats. So what that means, we can do the same setup. What that means is the corner is going to man up on Ted Ginn and do a pretty good job early against this post route. Not great. He still gets beat, but he mans up. And the one way we can stop that, now it's tough to do this because they're blitzing, is put my running back on a wheel route. What's that going to do is give that soft squat a little threat, and it's going to give a little easier release right there to Ted Ginn as the pressure gets in and knocks the ball away. But what's that going to, like I said, what that is going to do is going to give an easy release to Ted Ginn over there. Now, because we're putting our running back out, we can also block our tight end, give us a little more pass protection, and that's what we'll do. Easier release for Ted Ginn right up the field. We have that fade on the right side to keep that deep right safety all the way out of the play, and that way you can effectively stop soft squats from really manning up on that post route. But that's how I like to use this play to attack cover 2. Let me show it against man covers. There's been a lot of man covers really popping. And people have been using man covers a lot early in the game. Let's just go dollar. I'm going to take these pass rushers out because if you guys play practice mode, you know the pass rushers get pretty crazy. We're going to cover 1 robber press. We're going to do the same thing though. Against man, I'm going to do the same type of thing. Boom, like that. Now, the slants kill man. I don't know who Matthews is. I don't think he's good. So he might get bagged up, but Ted Ginn will be open. It's pretty much the same reads. You're going to have Kamara on a drag, might get covered. You might can get some yards from him. But if it's man-to-man, I like to give this guy a little head start. This is part of real football. This is why motion's invented, so that guy can't just punch him in the face in the line of scrimmage. So this is the beauty of it. You know, you guys see bunch, people motion him out. Then I just motion him in a step or two, get him off the press. Boom, you see how open B is. You see how open X are. Both of them are open. This is the play, probably the best play in the formation to attack covered 2-man under. Also, another thing I like to do against 2-man under, we talked about the route chems. Michael Thomas, Torrey Holt, Marvin Harrison, whoever it may be, corner route him. Same thing, just we got a corner route on Michael Thomas now. Now we're going to have all 4 receivers. Before, Michael Thomas was just running off zones. Now I feel like everybody's going to be open on this play. Michael Thomas kills on that corner route. We have the post route. We have the slant. Every single person on our field will be open against this cover 1 robber technique. And that's something I love to do. Now, we can start getting, I mean, obviously what people do with this robber stuff is they will put 2 cloud flats out there to cover the flats and then cover these slants coming across the middle, and they can use their Ted Ginn and so on and so forth. We see everybody open. Boom. That is pretty much how we're going to kill man coverage with this play. So we beat cover 3, we beat cover 2, we beat cover 4, or no, we beat 2-man under or man coverage. And cover 4 is pretty much the same thing as cover 3 for me. You just beat it with the same fade, drag, slant, same thing. We'll pretty much beat every coverage. Cover 2 is a little tougher to run this. That's why I run the setup like this against cover 2. A bunch of different ways to use this play to beat a bunch of different zones. All right, now I want to show you guys Saints out. It is probably my favorite play, a basic play that I ran last year, all year, pretty much from August to the end of the year. This year, I want to say it's better because the third zones, you know, you guys play a lot of cover 3 sky, cover 4. Those deep zones won't play these out routes at all. Last year, I would change these out routes into curls because the deep blues would jump these out routes. But this year, I'm loving just basic keeping out routes. Now, I always want to run my trio to the wide side because it makes 4 verticals better, makes a couple bombs better. There are bombs that we can run this way, that way with the trips to the short side, but I like the basic look. Trips to the wide side gives us more space for these 3 wide receivers to operate. Now, this is a defense you'll get a lot in mud. It's a single high safety. It is cover 3. Now, we know pretty much that safety that's over top of Michael Thomas is in a cloud zone or a flat zone or something like that. So most of the time what I like to do is drag X. So this way I have a high-low read between Kamara and Matthews. If it's a hard flat, I can hit the out route. If it's a cloud flat, I can hit Kamara. And that's why we put him there, so we can make plays. We're not going to fumble as much. We can juke people. We can get extra yards, man. Because this A is a player My tight end is a player that gets yards after the catch, and that's why I like to put my best person for yards after the catch there. It's always your running back. Then I like to put Ginn on this drag just so he can, give me a little escape route. Michael Thomas, they have to guard Michael Thomas. If they're not guarding the middle of the field, we're going to throw this ball to Michael Thomas. This post route is pretty much the same post route that's in route chems, unguardable by man, and it's really just you're able to fit it in between the zones. We know the yellow zones don't do much this year, and deep blue zones play back pretty far. So you're always able to throw this post route. You have to keep that in mind. But this is the basic setup I like to do. We know it's cover 3 here, so what's going to happen is if I see Michael Thomas get bumped by the cloud zone, I'm pretty much automatically throwing the out route to Matthews. There's rarely a person can bump Michael Thomas and get out and cover that out route. And like I said, if they do bump Michael Thomas, they're probably in a cloud zone or they're in a purple zone, so you can hit Kamara underneath. But see how he bumps that guy? Possession catch on the break. That's why it's money. That's why it kills, because so many people sit in this cover 3 because it's safe defense. They don't have to do too much. They're not going to give up big plays. But because that guy will bump Michael Thomas, we can hit that out route. But like I said, we can also hit Kamara in the flats as he broke a tackle out of bounds for us. But you can also hit Kamara in the flats, make some plays with him. Just pretty much a way to get everybody the ball, really. Hopefully he makes a play. Now, a lot of times if you don't have a great player there, one thing I like to do is just possession catch it. We'll go here, we'll pass, lead it up. Just get that possession catch animation. They catch the ball. You get animations where you can't get hit. You get 5 or 6 yards. But most of the time, if I see that bump on Michael Thomas, if I see them pressing Michael Thomas like that, as I get a sub, boom. Right there, we can always hit that route right there to your outside receiver on the play. And then, like I said, I have this drag underneath to Ted Ginn. So I can always hit right here. Get down. Don't take these hits, man. People talk about fumbles, man. Get your yards. Be happy with what you got. Because you'll have people over there just guarding the flat routes, guarding everything like that. And like I said, this post over the middle is just money. Let's try this out against a different defense, though, because it is, I will tell you, this play, if someone runs cover 3, this should be your call 90% of the time, should be this play, and just make a read until they start putting double flats, manning up Kamara, and just trying to take away everything. That's when, you got to start mixing in other plays. But this play can be effective pretty much the entire game. But we'll show it up against a different look. Let's just go a little bit of, let's try cover 2. Now, I think the one thing about Trio that makes it so good, it's impossible to run cover 2 because we have 4 verticals in our audibles. But say you think it's cover 3 and they're going to run a cover 2. We always have Kamara out here. Possession catch in front of the corner. That's about 8 yards. And it comes to the same thing where it could be cover 2 because both of the safeties are back. It's not guaranteed cover 3. Same thing. We always have that drag in the middle of the field when they're guarding the outside. Just a really, really good quick play. I'm blocking my running back actually on this play just to give me a little bit more protection. You guys know the sheds are crazy this year. Possession catch, Michael Thomas. Boom. Pretty much you can throw to every player. It's always important to have a play in your playbook where you can kind of throw to every player. A lot of times people will draw up plays where they can just throw to one person or they want to throw to one person. When you come out to play and there's 4 people that are an option, that's really hard to defend. As we see Kamara, let's get to him in the flat. There we go. Juking a person, juke another person. That's why we have him over Jared Cook. Now, Jared Cook might be able to truck, but the juke is just that much better than a truck. So that's the main setup I like to do pretty much with this play, to go up and down the field. You also have Latavius Murray on a table route, which is very effective this year at a table route. Anytime you can get another playmaker the ball, that's cool. So you could honestly just snap it like that and just high-low both sides. For me, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not good enough to high-low both sides. I pick a side I want to high-low and then have backside action. Like if I want to high-low the left, I'll have these 2 post routes. I'll have a drag coming the other way. because I can't look at the whole field at the same time. I'm old, and I don't know how good you guys are. I don't want to just have high-low reads on both sides. I want to look left to right, or I want to look right to left. Now, if I do this setup here where I just drag B, I'm looking left to right. I'm looking Murray, and then I'm looking Ginn, then I'm looking Thomas, then I'm looking Matthews. So I'm going to start on the left side. Now here we know we can hit Latavius Murray, low possession catch, almost pick up 10 yards on that route. You know, that's pretty much how I work. So most of the time I work this right to left. I'll sit here and go right. I'm looking on the right, looking at the right. I have Kamara, I'm going to wait, but then I have Ginn right here, possession catch in the middle of the field. Don't take those big hits. That's how I set up pretty much the base play in this formation. Now I want to show you guys a couple cover 3 bombs out of the wide trips. And these are kind of similar. There's a similar concept, and I'll show you guys the concept. We'll go to, let's just go, 3-4-I. We're just going to run a little cover 3. Nothing fancy. Just when you know when your opponent sits in cover 3. We talked about Saints out being the best play to beat it, but this is how you beat it over the top. You want one of these post routes. That's the first thing you need on a play. Then we'll take a streak. We'll streak Michael Thomas to run off the deep safety. Pretty much what we want to do on these plays is isolate that free safety that's sitting there in a deep blue. Now, the way you keep the corner down on the left side here to keep him occupied, you put Ted Ginn on a comeback route. Okay? That's going to hold that cover 3 corner down so he can't make a play on this post route. Now, the last thing you want to do is you want to motion him closer. You see, now we start getting closer to the left side of the field. What you want to do is pretty much run past this safety. You want to kind of throw this ball to the 10-yard line, or almost to the left of the numbers is what you want to do. And then once again, we have Kamara on that delay route. If things get hairy, or if you start getting pressure, you can put your running back on a delay route, running back on a curl, running back on a swing route, just to give you something to throw quick. But this is after you beat them up a lot with that Saints out or short passes. They'll put more coverage in there. And that's where you just got to sit here. Oh, we didn't get deep enough. We got bagged there. And this is a problem with the Saints, is that just they don't have the speed to really get going. I believe this guy Matthews has 89 speed. But you kind of see what happens here. You want to see the corner on the left and then that post route coming back across the middle. I almost want to lead that post route a little bit more, and that's a problem with Drew Brees. If you have noticed that, we can go here, watch this, choose new play. We want to do a depth chart. Drew Brees doesn't pass lead like your regular quarterback. The pass lead on Drew Brees is broken because they have the pass lead so good inside the 10-yard line, but when they get outside of the 10-yard line, or they get outside of 10 yards, they can't pass lead it that deep. But you saw what happened. We'll try it again with Teddy Bridgewater. See the type of pass lead that he's going to get on this play here. Oh, almost the same throw. Was that even Teddy Bridgewater? I think we still had Drew Brees that play. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, we still had Brees that play. I'm telling you. Now watch with Teddy Bridgewater. Much like your quarterback might want to do the same setup. What's killing me now is that we're getting Kamara one-on-one. That's what I don't want, Kamara one-on-one. So I slid, spotlight blocked. Almost going to put Kamara on a route so he's not blocking. Same thing with Bridgewater. You see just a way different throw with Teddy Bridgewater. Boom. Ball doesn't float in the air. Ball gets right there on time. Now, I'll tell you, I wish I had somebody faster than 82 Matthews. This is where you put your Tyreek, you put your Odell Beckham, whoever it may be. There it is. That's what we want. Now, if you had a faster player, boom. Easy touchdowns. This is where you get your big money plays, honestly. Like I said, Teddy Bridgewater is better than Drew Brees for throwing the ball deep. But we'll see what the comeback route does here. It keeps that cover 3 corner down. You get the fade to run off these safeties. Like I said, if this guy was 90, even 90 speed, he'd be catching it right here. Kind of over top of his head, pretty much. You see the hole right here that it opens up. and you run through. And I'll show you another way to do it out of this same formation. Probably a play that I run a lot too, man, and you guys will love. That is the PA post dig shot. Now I run this play flipped. I run this play with the trips to the short side. One, because that crossing route gets deeper down the field, so it becomes a over the cloud flat type of throw. We can then come back route again, and it's pretty much just the opposite side, really. You know, I actually smart routed Matthew's bomb right here, so it went a little bit faster. So we're pretty much doing the opposite side. Way better. Maybe that streak kind of hurt me a little bit in those plays I did earlier. But yeah, that's the same thing against cover 3, comeback route, post route, and you'll definitely have this crossing route over every zone to Michael Thomas. Those are the two plays I use to bomb cover 3 and even cover 4, whichever you guys it all works the same way on these deep zones. So those are definitely the ways I attack cover 3 deep. These are the audibles I want you guys to use in this formation. Saints out is probably the most basic play. It's always the play I like to put at X. In every formation, I kind of like to keep X as the quick pass audible. As you guys know, the stock audibles normally it's stick, normally it's slant, something like that. But for this, I enjoy it being Saints out because you can hit both flats, both high and low on the flats, and have a post over the middle. I'll show you guys how to set that up in a little bit, but that is why it's my X audible. I keep base. Last year, I did not have a run audible, but this year I have base. Just in case someone comes out in a really disrespectful run defense, pop a little base. The way the running backs are acting now between arm bar, evasive, jukebox, all this stuff, got to get your running backs the ball, even if it is your second running back on your team. As I showed you guys, it's not going to be my starting running back. It's going to be the second running back that gets the ball a lot. And then 4 verticals, got to have 4 verts. Always a great option to surprise somebody. And if they between the run and 4 verts is really like you always gotta respect those 2 things. And then sticking up is pretty much going to be your big play, your money play. That's why I have it at RB. I used to use PA wide receiver in last year. Really not in love with that play this year, so that's why I keep base and only go with 3 passing audibles. Now let's talk about why out this year. This is going to be the 3rd year in a row where I really like this play. It has a corner route that's, I want to say, unguardable. I really do. It's much like the hot routed, the slat apprentice corner routes, goes to the sideline. And one thing that makes this, as we get to the line, let's go. Against cover 3, I like short side. Putting this corner route to the short. The corner route is what you want to throw every single play when you run this. Every single play. Now, like I said, against cover 3, I like being on the short side. And one thing that makes this corner route better than others is because we have that drag right there. We see Thomas on a drag. And, you know, when you first look at it, it looks, simple. It looks meaningless. But what happens is when he runs this drag from left to right, it takes whatever cloud zone, whatever flat zone is on the left side, it just kind of makes him guard that drag route for a split second. And what that does is take those flat routes down into the middle just for a second, enough for Ted Ginn to get over them on a corner route. So essentially the drag will take a little bit of attention and allow Ted Ginn to get over top of all cloud zones. It works on cover 2, it works on cover 3. It's essentially a cloud glitch because they'll cover that guy. But so for me, the base setup that I run pretty much against anything is double drags here. You can hit one of these drags, make big plays. But what we really want to do is we want to hit Ted Ginn. As we see the cloud flat there, just dropped. And what makes it even better is not only will he freeze and get sucked in towards the middle because of the drag, but what will happen is by the time the other drag gets over there, now both of these guys are open. Obviously the shallow one is open a little bit more, but by the time I throw this ball to Ted Ginn, this guy is dropping down a little bit, or see how he flattens out? Once he flattens out because of the drag, you can just really hit this corner route in that soft spot right there. And that's why we like, if it's cover 3 or cover 4, I like running this corner route to the short side of the field, because that way this deep zone drops a little bit more. This deep zone has to worry more about the middle of the field. You know, if we did it to the wide side, he'd be able to play the corner or the sideline a little bit more than he is if it's on the short side. So that's why initially against cover 3, I like putting him to the short side and allowing him to work that sideline over there. And this year, the thing about corner routes, man, they give you a lot of leeway on the sideline to go ahead and really toe tap. You know, you can throw these late, you can throw them early, whatever it may be. You can make these plays over here. Early, late, your wide receiver will rot and hold on and stop there. And that's just, I mean, that's what makes this play good, is the corner route, the 2 drags. A lot of times what I'll do, see this post route. In the past, it's pretty much, you haven't really been able to throw it unless it was a deep bomb. But what I do for that is I kind of motion it and snap it while he's in motion. And what I do to give it a delay start. Because of the delay start, he'll get underneath zones a little bit better. So he actually can do that, throw it to him, hold wide, come back and get it away from the safety. That's one thing I had been doing and have been doing early in the year, just to give a little bit more space. Let them deep blues drop back a little bit more right there in the middle of the field. Boom, because you're going to have people running to the sideline. And the good thing about this game is they put a running back float feature, as they call it, where I can motion this running back to the other side. Now, obviously, your opponent's going to get hip to what side the corner route is on. You can flip it. Say if I flip the play, okay, they saw that I just flipped the play. But instead of flipping the play, we can do this. Makes it look like we audibled, but all we did was flip the running back. So now they're so used to the corner route. Bang. They're so used to the corner route being on the running back side or opposite the running back. Now, instead of flipping the entire play, you can just flip the running back and bluff like you flipped the whole play. Boom. Now, essentially, that corner route is on the side they did not expect, and we're able to throw it over the cloud zone there. So that's the base setup I like to use for Y out. Let's talk about it. Essentially against a cover 2. Let's see. Cover 2 is the only time I really would like to flip this. And there's a couple things you can do. Because when you're in a cover 2, the deep blues really aren't a factor. You know, they're really not going to... And we throw it over the cloud right there. And they're really not going to play anything, is my point. In cover 2, the deep blues really aren't going to play anything. So all you have to worry about is the cloud zone. So this just gives you more space to hit that in there. Now when you throw this, it doesn't look open. It doesn't. But what happens is, by the time you throw it, like I said, the drags will come back down. Or the drag will make him step up a little bit. Throw it over his head. Alright, now the last thing about this formation that makes it tough to run this play is when people really blitz the hell out of you. Let's just assume. Let's go Y out. Y out. Let's go cover dog 2 press, right? Now they're blitzing. Say they're doing the pinch linebackers. Everybody's blitzing. Everybody's coming to the party, right? Now you can't. There's only one blocker here, and you want Matthews to be the guy running the corner route. You still want the drag, and let's say we got the post. Now this is where the route specialist comes in handy, because we can put him on this post right here like that. But we'll keep it how it is for now. What I do to max protect is motion block this outside guy. Whatever outside guy it is, we'll just step him in one step, snap, and now you get double team over there. And we're able to hit the corner route. Enough time to hit the corner route. So people will blitz the hell out of you when you run this play. And that's the best way that I've found to really max protect. One step is all you need. And now we're getting a double team on the edge. And we're able to float that corner route there. He doesn't go for the catch. But you'll see it's the same type of thing. And last setup, sometimes I like to hitch Michael Thomas. We'll go for the same thing. We get max protect. Everything's covered. We can playmaker out. It give me wider playmaker. It just gives you other options, because if you're playing somebody else, most of these yellow zones will be blitzing. So let's try it again. One step, boom. Over here, playmaker Michael Thomas up. There it is. That's why we keep the hitch every once in a while. That's a little setup you can do. Really, just because we got this max protect, anything is pretty much an option here. We can even get rid of our corner route, go 2 drags, motion step them. There's Michael Thomas. Stuff like that, you know. Just that's the way you're going to have to protect if you're running Y out every play. So I showed you Y out against cover 3 to the short side, cover 2 to the wide side, cover 4, or what I say, blitz, we hit the max protect. Let me show you a little man coverage. What do we do against man? Cover 1, robber press. Corner route will be open. No matter what you got, what they do, corner route will be open. Now the other thing with that is, okay, the corner route is going to be open, but what else is going to be open? That's where we come in with the motion. Use your motion to get open, and that's where I come in with a motion drag. Is probably going to be the best thing. Just get some yards, as we see Smith just getting away. Motion drag just got, what, 40 yards? And one thing about catching these drags, man, I'll tell you guys, with the motion drags is don't try to run upfield right away. Motion drag again, boom. You see the corner run sideways, then take the angle on them. If you try to run up right upfield, they're going to have a better angle than you to get to the sideline, and they'll cut you off. But as we see, you see the corner out wide open. Ted Ginn is wide open on another drag. Really, really hard to man up this formation. You know, and more often than not, even Michael Thomas on this post route should get some separation. Yep, there it is. So if you use motion, you'll really beat man coverage very well. Motion to block blitzes. Use this corner route short side versus cover 3 and cover 4. Wide side against cover 2. That's why it's one of my favorite plays out of this formation. The next play I want to show you guys that I use out of tight offset is what's it called? Saints in. And I use this play because it has a better post route that you can throw over the middle of the field. It's a little bit, it's not as sharp as that deep post, so you can throw it in front of the safeties. So what I like to do is block my running back and drag A. So I have 2 drags, the same thing as Y out. And I also have that deep in that kind of works as a corner route where you can throw it in front of deep blues if they play hard flats, if they're really playing your underneath routes. But what I really like to do with this one is really, once again, I like to motion out Ted Ginn, give him a little bit of delay, and he's just really going to it's just so open underneath that cover 3 deep blue zone over top of the yellow zones. You guys know that the yellow zones really don't play too much in this game, especially over their head, and the deep blues are a little bit passive, so that's going to go ahead and just allow you to throw this over the middle of the field to Ted Ginn. So that's something that I like to mix in when they really start overplaying your corner routes and your underneath routes. Is definitely a nice post to hit over the yellow zones, but once again, we still have our double drags that we see get into Jared Cook picking up 10 yards. So you have your double drags, you have that deep out route if they do play hard flats, and then you have, like I said, you have this motion out post route that you can hit over the zones with Ted Ginn, dive it. Can't touch them when they get the diving animation. So that's a play I like to mix in if they really start overplaying your sidelines and overplaying your short routes. All right, let's talk about tight offset tight end. Been one of my favorite formations for 3 years running now on Madden. It's tough to run the whole game because it's tough to run and compress the whole game. That's why I like the Y trio, and we like the bunch as well. What I like to do, you can run 4 wide receivers out of this. All you have to do to run 4 wide receivers is, as you see, Jared Cook is right here on the right tight end, right, or the right slot is a tight end. So if we go, if the package, use the right stick to go to package, tight end right. What that does is it boosts Jared Cook out to the right outside receiver and moves a wide receiver number 3 into the slot. Now we just package sub, hit the RB button, go in here and put Smith in here. Bang. Now Jared Cook is gone. As we go back, number 87 is gone. It is Matthews, Smith on the right, Ted Ginn, and Michael Thomas on the left. So that's how I like to set up that as far as getting 4 wide receivers. Audibles, easy. I just use Y out and inside zone. There's other runs, draws in here. 0-1 trap is in here. Honestly, and I would probably switch bench. Let's switch the shot seams. The other play I like a little bit in this is Saints in. I will tell you, if I'm running tight offset, it's probably Y out every play. But let's put Saints in the audibles, and I'll show you guys that play a little bit as we go on. So those are the 3 audibles that I like: Y out, bench, inside zone, and we'll go Saints in. If you like, honestly, if you like 0-1 trap or you like to draw, you can put those in as well and have 2 run audibles because you got to keep inside zone. But if you like 0-1 trap, if you like draw, you can put those in there as well. Alright guys, let's move on to bunch. Something that I don't use too much, but man, you guys know it's a great formation in the game. The way I like to set this up, man, I like to put Michael Thomas, my route chem, slot apprentice on Mutt. If you have the Patriots, you can use any wide receiver to do this. If you have Kurt Warner, you can use any wide receiver to do this. But I'm going to put Michael Thomas in there to show you guys how this will take bunch to the next level if you go ahead and use Michael Thomas there. There's a couple plays I like to do. For audibles for this formation, what I like to do is I like to put mesh here, and I like to put RB. I like to have wide trail. So these are the plays that I like to use early in the game or when I use my bunch. Now we still have verticals. We'll go over that. So those are the audibles I like with Michael Thomas in the slot, man. Your best wide receiver, especially the one with the route chems, can play in the slot for you. And if you audible from bunch, from wide trips, you can have your running back at tight end position. And I'll show you guys how to utilize all these receivers in the bunch formation. The next play I want to run is mesh. This pretty much for me needs a route chem. I don't think you can use it without a route chem, but we'll try it. But mostly this is a cover 2 beater. I don't really use this play for too much because that corner route is a little bit deeper, so you will be throwing picks in the deep blue zones. But cover 2, as I'll show you right now, cover 2, I like to put that guy on a post. So this is classic Madden right here. Classic bunch, corner route, post, flat route, drag. And you pretty much just got to pick who you're going to use. But like I said, this route kills cover 2. There's no way cover 2 can be on your field if you're running bunch. So for me, that's why I like to utilize this. As you see, we had a post coming across the middle. Still have Jared Cook underneath. Little corners, you got to try to run them over. But if you audible from wide trips, you will have a running back there to make better plays. So this is just the way I like to run this play against cover 2. As we see here again, Michael Thomas right over the middle of the field. You got to pick your poison on this play. Really shreds cover 2. But like I said, I don't like it too much against cover 3, cover 4. But if they're in the cover 2, this is one of the best plays I like to run. One of the easiest setups. And I honestly, we go back to talking about every wide receiver being an option on your field. That's very important. And when you go to bunch and you're running this mesh play, it pretty much is an option. Everybody's an option on this play. And that's what I like about it, you know. Still, this guy, hold RB when you go over the middle of the field. You don't want to run into those linebackers, man, because those linebackers take no prisoners. But that's it right there. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, man. And it's a cover 2 play. If you try to throw this corner route on cover 4 or cover 3, you're going to run into a problem getting to the corner route, running into deep blue zones, and that's what we don't want. So, like I said, if they're in cover 3, they're in cover 4, stick to that vertical setup. And this one is more of a cover 2 beater. But at the same time, no matter what the coverage is, you'll always have your drag and you'll always have that post route to Michael Thomas. All right, the next play from bunch I want to show you guys is one I've been mixing in a lot lately. I didn't want to make the ebook without including this, and that's Wide Trail, or just Trail. It's called just Trail. I don't know where Wide Trail is from. Maybe that's from a single back bunch under center so many years. Wide Trail being what it's called. But the Player's Trail, it has a post route. It's a lot like Mesh Post. Now this will take a couple of hot routes to do. I'm going to run it against random play pretty much right here and just show you guys. I don't know what the coverage is, but I mean the only route we really like to keep is that post route to Ted Ginn. So once again, we're going to drag Kirkwood. Every single play I'm running here has been dragging Kirkwood. We're going to flat route Jared Cook, and we're going to use our route chem to put Michael Thomas on a corner route. Now we're going the opposite. You know, we're going corner route, post, but they flip who's on the corner route in the post. So your opponent gets cute, starts cross-manning a post, you're hitting somebody else with a post. And other than that, it's the same exact setup as the other plays. Motion him out a little bit. That's a little man coverage. You see everybody's open for the most part. Ted Ginn beating that 96 speed Dante Jackson for a nice play. So like I said, this is one where you can go into practice mode and really make a lot of reads. Just put it on random defense and just go ahead and make a read, see who's open right here. A little man coverage. Man blitz. We see Jared Cook open in the flats. Stiff arm somebody, picks up a cool 20 yards. So this is pretty much the same concept as Mesh, just different players. And that's important because when they do start cross-manning, man, you got to mix up your plays. Here we go again. This is just a little cover 3. We're going to try to fit that low ball Michael Thomas. Hold Y, come back and get it. He dropped it, though. Like I said, cover 3 is hard to throw them corner routes Y side of the field. That's why in Y out and tight offset, I like running my corner route to the short side. But we'll keep going with the same thing. Looks like a little cover 3 look again. We have the drag over the middle. We're going to go ahead to the post. Ooh, Ted Ginn did not hold on to that one. A little bit delayed down the field on the post. Deep down the field on this post. A little bit different from Mesh Post and West Coast that you guys see run a lot. But kind of the same concept. Flat route we have open again. Corner route open again. We'll hit this drag underneath. Kirkwood pick up a nice 8 to 10 yards on that drag. You got to take these drags when you had the opportunity to. We'll do it again. Let's see. Boom. Oh no, corner route. Same thing. I don't think. Yeah, it looks like a little bit of man coverage. Come back to it. Michael Thomas. Boom. The pass lead from Drew Brees past 10 yards is just putrid. They have to do something about fixing this for regs. It makes Drew Brees, and I keep talking about it being in practice mode with him. You guys see I've subbed in Teddy Bridgewater a lot, but Drew Brees is just not the quarterback. We had the flat route. We had the drag route. Didn't want any of those. I got greedy. I really want to do this post route, but it's kind of tough right now. So we'll mix it up. We'll go streak. We'll go flat. We'll go streak to Michael Thomas. Just try to clear out these zones in the middle. Oh, that's a little man coverage. You know that's not going to work. As once again, Drew Brees throws the ball wherever he wants. Safety went to the middle of the field. We'll go streak again. Just open things up for Ted Ginn on this post route a little bit more. I mean, look at Kuechly and him. Jeez. Make a play. There you go, Kirkwood. Good job. Stiff arm is good with arm bar, but it's definitely good with everybody. So this is a play I like to mix up. Like I said, my audibles, we have mesh. It's the same concept, essentially. Just different players. That's all. That's Michael Thomas. Just the pass lead isn't there. The zip on the ball isn't there. Let me just. I need it. I mean, so many times in this ebook, I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm just gonna put Bridgewater in. It's taken me a lot of days to do this ebook. Every time I go into practice mode, I try to use Drew Brees. I really do. I try my hardest, but he's just a frustrating player in this game. If you guys have played the game, you tell me you realize Drew Brees is a random play again. Looks like cover 3 again. It's just the pass lead, the zip on the ball is just different. Drew Brees is broken in this game. There it is. I don't know, cover 3, cover 2, a little cover 3 something. There we go, boom. Michael Thomas in front of that deep blue zone. Just when you have Teddy Bridgewater in, he just can pass lead the ball that much better. Looks like a little bit of man coverage. Teddy again beating Dante Jackson again. So that's the play I like to mix in. Along with mesh, along with verticals, those are the plays I like to run in bunch. All right, now the first play I want to look at is old reliable verticals. Honestly, probably been the best play in the game for shoot. I want to say maybe 5 to 10 years now. Bunch verticals. We'll do this, and we'll do this against. I'll show you 2 different ways: cover 2, cover 3. Let's start with just cover 3. Now, if it's a cover 3 look, most of the time I always like to drag X. Pretty much that's it. That's the main setup for verticals. If I have the route chem, I will always put this guy on this post. He kills man coverage where the stock crossing route does not beat man coverage. But if you don't have the route chem, you can just rock it like this. Now, cover 3, you know the tight end's going to be open. The wheel route, you motion them out. Against cover 3, it's really not an option this year because you can't quick throw it. But you still motion them out. And you're pretty much going to look between RB, X, and A. They're pretty much all going to be open at a certain time. And it really comes down to who your opponent really lurks and who he tries to take away. As we see Jared Cook just wide open, hit that possession catch and get down. That's the way you got to run this against cover 3. It's pretty much the best cover 3 beater in the game as far as finding people open. We'll do the same thing. This is with the stock crossing route. You see X would be wide open. And just depending on, ooh, Kuechly just killed me. Got to get down. Try to get down a little bit too late right there. But honestly, this is probably the easiest setup, the easiest play to run against cover 3. The easiest play to look for somebody if they do that. As we the yellow zone just matched on that crossing route. That is why a lot of times if I have this route apprentice, we're not going to allow that to happen again. I didn't like that getting matched. I wonder if we can even show you guys that. I was looking for the crossing route in one of these hook curls. I was looking to throw it, and this guy, Shaq Thompson, actually manned up on Michael Thomas. I talked about how that route is great against zone, but it's not good against man. So if I have a route chem, I like to put him there, and we'll see if Shaq Thompson can stay with that route this time, or if he even tries to man up on it. You see he doesn't even try to man up on it, and Drew Brees throws it into the ground. Let's try it again. But see the difference just in having that route chem will let you know right there he doesn't match up on. That's one thing about match coverage, why I don't like running, because I really never know what they're going to try to do here. You know, as Drew Brees just doesn't want to pass this ball. Do I have to put Teddy Bridgewater back in? But that is one reason why I like to use the route chem there. Let's see if Drew Brees. How about no pass lead, Drew? No pass lead. Okay, there you go. There you go, Drew. No pass lead. I tell you, these good quarterbacks are broken. They won't let you pass lead. So that is the way I like to set it up, and it shows you the route chem, just good for that play alone. That's against cover 3. If your opponent's running a lot of cover 3, as we see how wide open Jared Cook is. Now I'll show you this play against cover 2. What one of the differences I like to make. Come here, we go ahead. Bunch, verticals, Tampa 2. The biggest difference, if it's a cover 2 scheme, is I like to streak Jared Cook instead. But the same setups, really, we're going to put him on that post rather than that crossing route. Motion out. Now, because I streaked him, 1, I have a seam pass down the middle. 2, he's going to take that right strong safety deeper down the field faster, allow me to throw this wheel route to Ted Ginn over top of the right corner. Pass lead outside, possession catch. If I keep him on the regular tight end wheel route, he's not going to get that separation for your outside receiver. You want to throw to the outside receiver for a couple reasons. 1, he's your fastest receiver most of the time. 2, you're by the sideline, so if you fumble, it'll go out of bounds, or you can get out of bounds, not only to avoid fumbling, but to stop the clock. So it's always good to pass near the sideline just because it's easier to get out of bounds. It's easier to control your fumbles, and it's just a safer offense. Once again, the drag from bunch is just killer. It's hard to cross man. It's hard to really do anything. So most plays that you run, that guy X is going to be on a drag. So that's the biggest difference if I'm playing cover 2 or if I'm playing cover 3. We see here, we got to see what. There's that crossing route to Michael Thomas. Possession catch, holds on to the ball. So that's pretty much the biggest difference, how I run this play against cover 2 and against cover 3. Those are the difference in it. And we'll see what this crossing route does if it's not once again, pass, lead out, possession, catch. Eric Reed cannot get to that wheel route because the tight end runs down the middle of the field, keeps him to the middle of the field. Those are the differences between cover 2 and cover 3. Now, man coverage, I mean, if you guys haven't been playing Madden enough to know that the wheel route kills man coverage, I mean, I don't know what game you've been playing, but say we go, I just went cover 3. But 2-man under, if people run the pinch buck 0 on you, this is the best play in the game to pretty much run to score 1-play touchdowns on it. Verticals, we'll go pinch buck, show you guys how bad it kills it. You go max protect, post route, that same post route, Kirkwood on a drag. I don't know who Kirkwood is. Motion out Ted again. This is 96 speed. Oh my goodness. And that's what happens sometimes. Shaq Thompson got to me. Max protect did not work. Let's try it again. But this is 96 speed. Dante Jackson trying to guard Ted Ginn. And it's just no contest. So that's why the wheel route is dominant. That's why this play is dominant. It kills man coverage, kills cover 2, and I showed you guys the way to make sure that it will kill cover 3 as well. And you see how open that post route is. You see how open the drag is. All 3 receivers are an option to pass the ball, and all 3 receivers are going to different places across the field. And that's what makes it good. It's impossible to lurk all these wide receivers with one person because they're literally completely different levels, completely different areas of the field. So that's the way I like to beat man coverage out of this. Just so many options to run bunch verticals and utilize it against all types of coverages. All right, guys, the last shotgun formation I'm going to show you guys is empty Saint. I like this play because we can utilize the tight ends with delay routes. We can utilize them max protecting, blocking, and really opening things up for our other receivers that we want to get the ball to. So the play I like to run is stick. It's pretty much the best play in this formation. Kind of the only one that I like to run. We'll go random 3-4 here. The thing I like about stick is that other post route to Smith, that stock post route. Then I like to use Michael Thomas with our route chems to either put him on a post or put him on a corner route. Now we have 2 tight ends, so we can utilize these delay routes accordingly. You know, we can go double delay routes, double flats, double crossing routes. Now, not only will they block for you if you need them to, but if your opponent bluffs you and only rushes 3, they can send out and attack the flats. So we'll see how it works. This play, I want my protection. It's man coverage. Michael Thomas, that was the best coverage I've ever seen on those corner routes by a safety, Eric Reed. But we can also run it with, and we see man coverage, or not man coverage, a little zone. Little cover 3 hard flats. You hit that post over the middle of the field. So this is a nice quick snap play. Do one hot route. You can run it like that. As we see the patented cover 4 drop. I know you guys are tired of playing against online. But this is just really an effective play to kind of attack all levels of the defense. Little pinch buck 0 there. As we hit Jared Cook for 25 yards. So the biggest thing I like about it has 2 tight ends. So we can use these guys any way we want. We got double delay crossing routes here. Let's see what type of coverage they go with. Just a little cover 3 blitz. We're able to max protect, have all day. Throw that post route, get a block from our receiver downfield, and take it to the crib. That's why I like having 2 tight ends and 3 wide receivers. So it's definitely effective. I'll show you guys what these delay routes just did to these linebackers. See the delay routes? Now, if he only rushed 3, if it was cover 4 drop, I could have sent these guys out by pressing their button and they attacked the flats or the crossing route. But because they brought pressure, I'm able to keep everybody in here, have a max protection set, give Teddy Bridgewater enough time to find somebody down the field. Now, if your opponent go ahead and lurk this corner route, which is also wide open, you have this crossing route coming underneath right over Luke Kuechly's head. Hit him, get a block from Michael Thomas, and take it to the Baja. So that's why I like this set. It's a max protect set, but it can also disguise for a send out 5. Once again, we have all day because we max protect. Boom, we hit Michael Thomas. That's the main play I like to run out of empty Saint. All right, guys, let's talk about red zone. I mean, I know you guys can go up and down the field pretty easily, but this is where things get tight down here in the red zone. And I'll show you guys a couple setups that I love to use that I've been using last year and I've been using early this year to really score touchdowns inside the 10-yard line. And for me, you have to utilize your quarterback's mobility if you have that. If not, that's fine. But you have to utilize routes to open up zones. And pretty much what that does is I like to have a flat route on both sides for every little play design that I have down here. Because what that will do is take the flat zones, take the purple zones, move them to the sidelines, get them out of the way. It takes a lot of balls to throw one of these flat routes down in the end zone. So they're pretty much not options on every play that I set up because there's so little space that you're risking going to pick 6 if you look at the flat routes. Now, obviously, they blitz and leave Kamara wide open. He's an option. But Saints out, probably my favorite play in the game, especially inside the 10. I like to put these guys on curls. Now, curls will beat man. Now, they will beat man. You got to throw the perfect timing. Now, down here in the red zone, I like to I like to smart route my curls. So they're at the end zone. That way, if there's deep blue zones, they're going to be in front of that much more. If you leave them at 15 yards or whatever that, 8, 10 yards or 12 yards, they might be behind a deep blue zone and risk you doing a pick. So I like to smart route it. I like to smart route Smith on his post. That's your high ball. That's where I would like. Matter of fact, let's do that right now. That's where I put my Michael Thomas. That's where I put DeAndre Hopkins if I'm playing with the Texans. Put Michael Thomas there. We'll run it again. Saints out. We'll just play it against. We'll play a little cover 3 hard flats down here. Give you an option of what I look for when I run this play. Now you know it's cover 3 because the safety's in the middle of the field. Let's smart route Michael Thomas. He's the high ball option. Your opponent will be in the middle of the field. So what this comes down to is these curl routes will pretty much be open all the time. It's about picking which one your opponent does not guard, and you're able to hit possession catch. Boom. Right there. That's why we keep the flat routes as we see. This is against cover 3. Zoom out. Let's see. The 2 flat routes you see this taking the linebacker out of the way. Same thing over here, taking the linebacker out of the way. Both of these curl routes open. Even Michael Thomas, high ball back of the end zone, open. So your opponent will have a user down here, whether he's on Kuechly or he's on Shaq Thompson. He will have to pick which one of these guys he will guard. Now, more often than not, what happens to me is that they guard the post route to Michael Thomas. He's the biggest threat on the field, and that's an option I like to go to. So they'll be in the middle of the field and just give you an option of which curl route you want to hit. So let's run this against random defense. I'll show you guys how I like to score down here in the red zone. We'll go random 3-4. We'll smart route both these curls, same thing. Safety, we'll smart route Michael Thomas too. I actually went a little man engage 8, and we're able to hit the flat route to Jared Cook. When you see that many people blitzing, you got to take your options there. I know I talked about how I don't love throwing the flat routes, but if they blitz 10 people, you got to take it. Same thing, we'll smart route everybody. This is like a little cover 3. Same thing that we got to him right there. Now, even though that was purple zones or coverage or whatever it was, let me show you guys. As they rush a little delay blitz. I don't know who just got whooped right there. My right guard got whooped. But I definitely, you see it kind of opening up over here on the left. That's what I was looking to hit right here. This left post, this left curl right here. Just low ball at possession catch. That's what I was looking to hit. You see, cover 3, this is pretty much designed for cover 3. Now, this looks like a little 4-3-4 bear. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to block Jared Cook because I don't like the way it looks right there. Yeah, he brought a little pressure, a little man coverage, and you know this guy is unguardable in man coverage. Probably should have went to the corner route or the curl route to show you guys how they beat man coverage. Now this one I don't feel like I have to block because there's not an overload really. Let's see what they send here. A little bit more. Same thing. Cover 3. Hopefully stiff arm getting to the end zone there. Smart route your corner routes. Smart route Michael Thomas. That's it, man.
Oh, got laggy? What? Cover 3 again. Get the curl. Boom. If it's not smart routed, he'll be standing by that deep blue because I smart routed. Keeps it underneath that deep blue, able to hit for yards. I feel like a little pressure on the left. I'm going to block Alvin Kamara this play. Yeah, bro, a little bit of pressure. Low ball, possession catch, tight again. Simple as that. I almost want to say that was man coverage. Let's take a look again at the replay. Yeah, man coverage. He stands there. That's one thing about curls in this game that I hate as a defensive player and love as an offensive player. Okay, the curl's over. He beat him, yes. But look at Dante Jackson. Haven't thrown the ball yet. He's just going to stand behind him. Because he's standing behind him, I can go ahead and just throw this low, possession, catch it, boom. Simple as that. Now, I wish my timing was better and I threw the ball about right here. But because he stands behind him, you can always just low ball these and possession catch him. Or wide catch him and come back to the ball a little bit faster so that DB doesn't get in front of you. That's why curls are so effective in this game and so effective inside the 10-yard line. Okay, guys, I showed you one of my favorite pass plays for inside the 10-yard line. Now, let's talk about why I'm in New Orleans again. Ran a lot of the cluster. That's also great. So I hope you guys had a premium membership. You can check out the cluster. But with Rags, Ezekiel Elliott, the armbar, I thought a playbook with some more running formations. And a lot of people ask me, what's the best running playbook? Why does Arizona has no runs? I can't play with it because it has no runs. Now, for me, New Orleans is the best running playbook in the game. It has the patented eye close. It has slot flex, which is my favorite run in the game. Tight, but you can run power O, dive. This is if I get inside the 2-yard line. I like running that more than I like running goal line. Single back, it has ace. Has this wing stack that has a stretch in it and a dive, which is great. Has the bunch base, doubles. Just a bunch of different ways to run the ball in the end zone. And for me, like I said, I like this slot flex. For me, it's my favorite running formation. And the best run I like out of here is Saints halfback zone. So if I get inside the 10, it's a close game, and I really want to pound the ball, try to get in the end zone, this is the play I want to use. And you can use your motions a bunch of different ways. This guy doesn't motion all the way across. So if we want to run this left, we want to take Michael Thomas and motion him, kind of add another blocker to the run. Right when he gets outside the tight end, we'll go ahead and snap it. As you see, bang, we get in the end zone from the 8-yard line. So this is my favorite run. Let's see what look the defense gives me now. Now I feel like I'm going to run to the left side. We have a little number advantage over there. Now if I'm running to the left, I just want to motion Ted Ginn in a little bit. Give him a little boost. Once again, touchdown with ease. This isn't a stretch. It isn't a power O. It's kind of in between both of them. And this Saints zone run has been really good the last couple years. So for me, at that time, we got Luke Kuechly just made his money. For me, this is definitely my favorite run. Honestly, you can run up and down the field. Now, you guys know I'm not a runner. I feel like putting runs in ebooks is kind of brain dead because, I mean, there's really not that much science to it. I just want to show you guys which is my favorite run inside the 10-yard line. And probably the best up and down the field, too, honestly. As for some reason, my fullback does. This is why I don't really like running the ball, because for some reason, just tell me what my fullback. Now, Luke Kuechly is the best player on the Panthers, and my fullback said, "No, I'm going to go block. Not only am I not going to block Kuechly, I'm not going to block the other linebacker either. I'm going to take my chances with the safety," and he just allowed me to die. Now, somebody at home could let me know what I had to do as a runner to get my fullback to block the right person. But like I said, this is my favorite run, probably the best run in the playbook. But so this is what I would choose to run if I were going to run the ball, and we do, especially in regs, when these guys are a little bit, and when the run is a little bit better. You have the arm bar, you have jukebox, you have the Cowboys offensive line, whatever you have in regs. This is the best way for me to really utilize that as we break another touchdown here inside the 10-yard line. But also, we'll talk about some other runs out of the Saints. Obviously, I-form close is one of the best because you have stretch and dive, and I'll set my audibles like that. I always use stretch as RB because I feel like it's right, like go right, and Y is one of my halfback lead dive up the middle. So we'll just go random cover or 3-4. Same thing, man. I mean, Luke Kuechly is just blasting me pretty much every chance he gets. But at least we blocked him that play, so I'm not too mad about it. Look, Kamara making a play, getting to the outside. I can show you these runs over and over, but these is another set. Little halfback dive. Just get some yards. So these are the sets I like to use when I get down there. Mixing that Y out play. Really effective running playbook when you need to get these tough yards. Alright, well I want to show you one of my other favorite formations inside the red zone. That's pistol bunch tight end. I love it because of the draw, the zone, the strong power, but this is the sneaky dot that I like to use out of it. Post route, corner route, wheel route, and the same thing. Curl route, flat route on the left side. This is against random 3-4. We just got to make a read here. A little bit of pressure. Let's get the ball to Kamara, try to make a play. Kamara actually has the hot route ability where he gets other routes, so I might put him on a... I don't have this in mud. I'll never use it, so for me, maybe a swing route is better than a wheel route, but we'll keep the wheel route. Motion him out a little bit, just a little. This is cover 4 right here. I'll take the flat route. That purple zone played my curl right there. I'm just gonna keep. I'm not even gonna motion him out. I'm just gonna just snap it like this. I like flat route and Ted Ginn rather than that out route. There it is. Boom. That was cover 2, I believe. I'm not sure. Like I said, this looks like man coverage. I'm gonna smart route Jared Cook here. I'm gonna look for Jared Cook. Oh, he got bagged. I think the man coverage read is the other post route to Smith. Just wide open, that curl route against zone. So between the halfback draw, this is man coverage again. Let me look for Smith here. Or Jericho. I'm going to look for Smith. Kills the man coverage. Boom. Right over the middle. Touchdown, Smith. But really, you can just wheel route here and honestly snap this play here. Possession catch, Michael Thomas. Boom. So this is the dot I like to mix in with my draw, with my strong power, and with my halfback zone, man. Really good run plays out of the pistol bunch that are pretty much better than any inside zone, better than any base out of shotgun that you can have. So this is a sneaky formation I like to use inside of the 10-yard line to really put a bind on my opponent here. Oh, Kuechly dropped that one. Really put a bind on my opponent as far as being able to stop the run and stop the pass at the same time. Laser. Teddy Bridgewater. All right. Now I showed you why trio. I showed you a little bit of running the ball. I'm gonna show you a bunch, a little dot, a sneaky dot that I like to use down here. We'll go random. We'll go just cover 3. Let's sneaky dot. We'll do this at the 9-yard line. One, I like to use the same concept though on this left side. Curl, flat route. Whatever flat route you like. I like the wheel route. It's the most effective to get the ball to your player. Now we have Michael Thomas. We'll put him on that post, right? We have the patented wheel route that people have been motioning out, throwing high forever. But also what you have to realize about the wheel route is it's also a flat route. And we talked about using the flat routes to get the zones out of the way, spread them out to the sideline. You can use that as well to open up kind of a hole right here in between that corner and the safety there. And I like to put my tight end on an out route. You know, because your opponent's going to be in the middle of the field, you're going to have your curl, you're going to have your out route, you're going to have your wheel route if you want to high ball that to your big receiver, and we're going to have Michael Thomas over the middle. So I'll show you guys how I like to throw this pass to Jared Cook as he's super... Oh, I just hit left trigger to run. Now right there with the purple zones, they tend to really play the sidelines a little bit more. Or play the middle of the field. Seam flats, they like to play the middle of the field. So maybe this wheel route would be the best throw against that. As we see Ted Ginn get absolutely blurred. Maybe we need Michael Thomas on that. Let's go post. Out route to Jared Cook. Wheel route. We hot route on pretty much everybody on this play. But we want to hit Jared Cook. There it is. I don't know who just got that much pressure on me, but let's take a look at it again in the replay. Wheel route takes, you see the purple zone going out there, and shout out to my right guard, man. He did a lot of work on this play. But you see the flat route going out there because of the wheel route. You see the post route taking Kuechly to the middle, and you just see this giant vacated hole right here because of the wheel route, because of the post route, and just puts a void on your user. Are you going to get Michael Thomas? Are you going to get the out route to Jared Cook? Or could you get this curl over here that's eventually going to break open? So I'm just going to keep running this play. Let's go post. Wheel route. Let's smart route my curl. Just keep running this. I should run it against some random play. We got the curl. It just puts a lot of voids on your user. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and run this setup against random 3-4. Now I'd say 3-4 down here because most people will go to a 3-4 just because you're closer to the end zone. And if they're not going to a 3-4, I would recommend audible and down running base, running a little inside zone, whatever you may have. This looks like an overload blitz right here to the right side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that post. I'm going to put a drag. So we're going to have our drag, we're going to have our corner route, we're going to have our out route or our wheel route, one or the other. Depending on what happens here after the snap, it's a little man coverage. Look at that. Look how that killed man coverage. I think on that play I would have had every single person if I wanted them. Same look, a similar look. So I'm going to do a similar thing here. We're going to just get rid of... So essentially what you got to think about this is that my drag route replaces Alvin Kamara. So my drag route becomes a flat route to the left. So it's going to put a bind on the zones if this is zone on the left side. And I have a bind on the zone on the right side. So I have just a flat route and an out route. And I have a flat route and a curl route. And I also have a quick drag to throw over the middle if there is a lot of pressure. So that's pretty much what I do. Instead of doing this, I just get rid of this flat route for a blocker and put a drag here. Because this looks like a little bit of pressure. We're going to slide right. One thing I realized, the more you do pass protections, the more you get screamed at. Oh, they actually bluffed me. But that's why I have my drag. I tell you, the more you do pass protections, the more you get screamed at. And that's what I mean, look at I guess I slid right, so it kind of makes sense. You know, and this is what I like about Madden. I kind of got bluffed by the computer here. He has 4 people to the right of the center, and I slid right. He dropped 2 of them off, blitzed here. Still should have picked it up, but that's why I like putting that drag if I need protection. I got a bad throw because of the pressure, but you see Michael Thomas was open. Jared Cook is going to break open. My curl route's going to be open. That's why I like switching that up if they bring a little bit of pressure. Now this looks like a lot less pressure. So we'll go with our main setup here. Boom. Just make it nice job, curl route. I mean, have you guys run it? Oh man, sometimes your players just really want the ball. They just really want the ball. You can't make it. This is a little corner blitz action. I didn't smart route my curl. I got lazy, and you see how far back he is. That's a perfect example of why I smart route him. See the deep blue zone? Absolutely smothered that curl. But I do have my post route over the middle. Should have been a touchdown, but I forgot to actually show what my curl route did here. Throw him the ball perfectly, and for some reason, I guess any wide receiver would do this. Just absolute. I mean, this is the easiest touchdown in the world, and I get hits, and it's a pick. Jeez. Let's keep running it though. Take the time to actually smart route my curl here. Hopefully, they run something similar, so I can show you guys the difference. Man coverage. Ooh, we drop. Throw it low, Dubby. Throw it low. Trust the low throw. So pretty much everybody on this play is hot routed other than the wheel route. Oh, we got just killed right there. Come on, man. That's the one thing about sending out 5. You will get really killed, or your pass rush or your tackles will be in a bind. I'm actually going to slide right, try to help that guy. Of course, they blitz from the right now, but now we'll have that pick that we just threw, Teddy Bridgewater. This is where I just want to show you guys where I wanted this football and where Teddy Bridgewater just put it. I wanted the football here, but I do see my wheel route just wide open. But he's not really not a read. But I want this throw here. He throws it actually behind him. And this is the beauty. This is the gift and the curse of Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Brees. Really just using the Saints to show you guys New Orleans. Let me use the Saints, but I think this team is bad. And they have a route chem, so to help me show you guys that. But we're going to have Jared Cook wide open on this. Another terrible throw. I mean, I lowball it because it's easier to get possession catch animations, but he was just wide open on that play. See how long I can wait on that curl route? It's going to be open if you smart route it. You see the difference, man. This little crossfire blitz is picked up, but you guys will see the difference. When he was not smart routed, he was standing behind him. But now when we smart route him, as we have Michael Thomas wide open, we probably have Jared Cook if my man could throw the ball the right way. Put a low ball right here. But both of these guys are open. Able to throw the hitch late, low, and possession catch it to Kirkwood. But really, this is one of the main plays I like running down here, out a bunch, to mix in with all the run plays that I got. Jared Cook, come on. Oh, there we go. We'll take it. Bumped into the route a little bit, but it worked out. So this is the best play out of bunch I have for inside the 10-yard line.